Welcome to Encountering Christ, a podcast about meeting Jesus in the ordinary moments of life, learning how to invite others into those encounters, and exploring practical ways to recognize Jesus at work in our daily rhythms. Our prayer is that this time helps you see and share Christ more clearly. Today we move forward into a new subject for the next couple of episodes. And we just spent a little bit of time on creation, and now it's time to move forward and take a look at human beings or mankind. Perhaps one of the most interesting topics for mankind is to study is us. I mean, who are we? What is mankind? We humans are capable of great love, effort, art, and so many things. Of course, when I say we are capable of great things, these things are only really great to us. I'm not sure the animals and plants nor anything else in all creation think as highly of humanity as humans do. I mean, we are the ones who see the greatness of humanity. We humans are so proud of ourselves, but we're not as quick to notice our incredible propensity for sin. Humanity is capable of horrendous evil, war, crime, selfishness, drunkenness, immorality, cruelty, and on and on. Not only that, we act and live as if we are untouchable. Yet humanity is frail. James speaks of the frailty of man when he says in James 4:14, "Why, you do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You're a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes." Then in Psalm 8:4, the question is asked, "What is man that you are mindful of him?" Now I wonder, which view of mankind is more appropriate? That we are the greatest thing on the planet, or that we are frail and vulnerable? Should we view ourselves through the lens of all the good we do, or should we view ourselves through the lens of the evil that we do? I mean, who are we? And what, if anything, gives us value? Where do we start in figuring the value of mankind? Now, that question is an important one. And most recently, our world has determined that in order to study man, we should start with man. That's what Descartes taught us to do whenever he voiced the words, "I think, therefore I am." That's also what the English poet Alexander Pope wrote in his essay on man. He said, "Know then thyself, presume not God to scan. The proper study of mankind is man." And as his poem goes on, he notes that mankind cannot come to a conclusion about himself, that we're sort of stuck in a middle ground between the good we can do and the bad things we do. He proclaims that we are a riddle to ourselves. And there is the problem. If you start with man, you end up getting nowhere. Understanding who we are by only looking at us is like trying to explain the existence and purpose of an automobile without giving thought of a manufacturer. We're trying to explain the purpose of an automobile to a lion who can only focus on his next meal. The point is this: if all we look at is ourselves and our desires and wants without any thought of our Creator or His reasons for creating us, then we will continue to walk in the dark. And that is exactly the world we live in. The more we look only at ourselves, the more we walk in darkness. And that creates a problem. If we don't, now, if we're going to look and we can't get anywhere by looking at only ourselves, if we don't start with ourselves, the question is, where do we start? Well, we start with the Creator. And that presents a problem in and of itself, because now we're talking about a God that is hard to see, hear, touch, or understand. I mean, how do you get to know God? Well, that is the foundation we've been laying in the previous 41 episodes of this podcast. But how does who God is teach us about who mankind is? John S. Hammett said it this way: "Humans are worthy of consideration because God is supremely worthy of attention, and God has chosen to involve himself with humans." You see, the value of humanity is not found within humanity itself. No, the value of humanity is found in the value assigned to us by the God who created us. Our value is assigned to us first by the manner in which God created us. Unlike anything else that God created us in His image. He breathed life into our souls with His own breath. Humanity's value is God-given and God-breathed. We're certainly not an equivalent to God by any means, but God's nature is stamped on our souls, and His breath is our life. So let's delve into that. The first thing to understand about mankind is that we are the creation of God. It is important to hear this passage from the Bible on a deep level. So listen to this, Psalm 100, verse 3. Know that the Lord is God. It is He who made us, and we are His. We are His people, the sheep of His pasture. Now let's take a look at that. First, the Lord is God. He is all, is through all, and is in all. All things live and move and have their being in Him, and that includes mankind, for the Lord is God. Second, it is He who made us. Mankind was thought out by God, fashioned by God, and is the perfect result of God's effort. We are made by God. Third, and we are His people. Now, this can be viewed through the lens of man by saying those who place their faith in Christ become the people of God. But I don't think that's what this is talking about. I think it's talking about authority. God has all authority. God has all authority over mankind. He determines what humanity is, who humanity is, and why humanity is. We do not determine ourselves. We are already determined by God. We cannot make ourselves unhuman. We are humans. We cannot change what God has created us to be, for we are His people. Humanity is not self-determined. We are God-determined. And then fourth, we are the sheep of His pasture. We will carry out His purposes in creating us, one way or another. God's intention or purpose in creating us will and has come to fruition. And all of that can be summed up in one sentence. We are creatures that have been made by a creator. And I hope you see what's going on here. It is the human desire to reject this truth that lies at the heart of our sin. And America is the perfect illustration of this. Americans have been given the gift of personal rights, the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our problem is that we simply choose to forget or remember the understanding of where these rights come from. Our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness do not come from the Constitution or from a piece of paper. They come from God, our Creator. You see, the origin of rights doesn't come from a government. They come from who God created us to be. It is a part of who we are. And who we are is not the result of our shared commitment to a concept. Who we are is the result of our Creator. Our lives only have value as our Creator has given us value. Now, this is more than a mere concept. It is who we are. It is what we're doing here and why we were created. God gave us life so that we could know Him. God gave us liberty so that we could choose Him. And God gave us the ability to pursue so that we could find Him. It is the rejection of God that leads to death, to chains, and to that which is not good. And this is true not only in eternity, but in this world. And when I say rejection, I'm not just talking about the rejection of a concept. I'm talking about a rejection of the way of life that proceeds from the concept. I'm talking about a personal, real-life rejection of God Himself in our soul. All of that to say, God is real and God is here. God is not a mere concept or idea that mankind has conjured up. Our very existence is not toward a mere belief in a concept. It is personal. It is within the context of relationship. All of that to say this one simple sentence. The reason I exist is to know and embrace the living God who created me. It is a life to be lived, not a mere concept to embrace or understand. And so here's what I want to ask you to consider. What is your life? Is it the fragile time you have on this planet, here today and gone tomorrow? Is that all that life is about? No. Your life is the result of the God who created you. Your life is meant to be found in knowing Him. For in Him, your life is eternal and full of joy, because that is who God is. However, you are given the liberty to choose Him or reject Him. Don't make the mistake of trying to find meaning by looking within yourself. As the song says, you were made for more. You were made to know God for eternity. Start there.